Reading The Heart of Love. This month, the month of love, has been about getting to the heart of the matter. And so far this month, we've done that by focusing on our heart's dreams and desires. Today, we're going to shift gears a bit and get into the heart of a very important matter. A matter that is really important in the world today. We know that the world needs now is love. Sweet love. Right? What the world needs now is love. Sweet love. And it's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love. And not just from some, but from everyone. A song made popular by Jackie DeShannon in 1965, and then again by Dionne Warwick. These words from Ernest Holmes in what religious science teaches seems particularly important right now. If we would look for a God of love, we must look long and deeply into each other. We must look away from the differences until we penetrate into the unity of the whole. Love alone reveals love. And the question is, what do we do when it's hard to love? And we see a lot of behavior and situations that are hard to love in our world today, don't we? News commentator, author, social activist Van Jones, speaking at the Revelation Conference at Agape, once said, "When it's hard to love, love harder." Doing that is high and holy work, that's for sure. But what could be more important? Today we look at how we can love harder in some very real and tangible ways. Before we get to those very real and tangible ways, I want to remind you of the power of love. A lot of research has been done on babies born to addicted drugs because of addictions of their mothers. Not surprisingly, these babies tend to be smaller in size than normal. They have weaker vital signs and are more lethargic than other babies. And the mortality rate is very high. Many of them simply don't survive. Initially, these underweight babies were given everything required for their physical health. They received medication and food and drink, but still that was not enough to keep them well. Actually, even kept many of them. However, they found if volunteers regularly spent time with them and held them, rocked them in their arms, and spoke loving and gentle words to them, then suddenly the health of the babies began to improve dramatically. Their weights increased, their vital signs improved, and the mortality rates drastically decreased. That probably doesn't surprise us. Knowing the power of love, we could see how these little babies improved so significantly because they were given massive amounts of love by the volunteers who held them. It looks like the love given to them released them those natural hormones and enzymes that were required for them to begin to grow in a healthy way. And scientists agreed. Based on evidence, they concluded that these infants improved because they needed to be loved in order to develop. But let's think about this a different way. We know that we are perfect, whole and complete expressions of the divine. There's nothing that needs to be added to us to make us more perfect, more whole, or more complete. And we know that love is our natural state. That is who and what we are. We are made in the image and likeness of the supreme essence of love. We are love incarnated. Since we are intrinsically whole, perfect and complete, and since we are love incarnated, then the truth is that nothing needs to be added to us or given to us. It only needs to be released from us. If we look at the story of babies from the spiritual perspective, there's an entirely different conclusion. The babies became healthy and thrived, not so much because they were given love, but because they were placed in an environment where the intrinsic love within them was called forth. What healed their physical bodies was not so much the love they received from others, but the love that was released from within them. That's a big, isn't it? Really big. Let me say it again. The babies became healthy and thrived not so much because they were given love, but because they were placed in an environment where the intrinsic love within them was called forth. What healed their physical bodies was not so much the love they received from others, but the love that was released from within them. Rumi once said, "Your task is not to seek love, but merely seek and find all barriers within yourself that you have built against it." And that is what will heal our world. When enough people create the opportunity, the environment, the situation for the barriers to be dissolved so that love can be released from within humanity, we will see a new day. Okay, that's all a very good theory. But what can we actually tangibly do to create that environment? That is where the rubber meets the road. We often think of love as a sense, a feeling, but actually, I believe it's a verb. Love is actually a behavior. Love is the way we show up, the things we do, the way we speak, the way we treat one another. Every time we love in a tangible, behavioral way, even if it is a very small way, we create the environment to release love from within others. Even when it is difficult, or should I say especially when it is difficult, meet every act of hatred with an act of love and unity. And it doesn't matter if your act of love and unity directly relates to the act of hatred or not. Remember, our job is to release love from within. Remember, when it's hard to love harder. I researched the internet on ways to bring more love into the world, and I found some really great stuff. I suggest that you do it too. I want to give you a dozen ideals to bring greater love into the world. Some of these won't be new ideals. The question is, do you do them? Some may be new, and then the question is, will you do them? There's too many to write down, so don't try. I want you to be with them and feel into the new ideals. If I did this, I would create an environment of greater love and therefore release it in humanity. For those of you who want the list, we'll be happy to post it on Facebook or email it to you. So 1, go up to someone you've never met before, hand them a $10 bill and say, "You look absolutely awesome. Stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, handsome." Whatever it is you want to say. Followed by, "Have a great day," and then walk away. This one is challenging for a lot of people in many different ways. It might feel confronting for your values around money, around whether or not you should approach strangers, which is why it's so great to do. Growth for you and a delightful surprise for them. 2, when you see a police officer, a firefighter, a serviceman or woman, nurse, doctor, EMT, etc., thank them. These are some of the most difficult jobs, so next time you see one of them, sincerely thank them for doing their job. Ask, "What may I do to help?" Maybe it's someone you know who has a lot on their plate right now that might be feeling overwhelmed. Maybe they just had a baby, or they're depressed, or they recently went through a breakup, or they have a big exam coming up. Or maybe it's a complete stranger you see struggling to carry a heavy box. Ask them, what can you do for them, and then do it. Offer to buy a homeless person whatever he wants from the store he's sitting in front of. If you see someone who appears to be homeless sitting in front of a store asking for change, ask if he or she wants anything from inside of it when you're on your way. And don't just lob the question over your shoulder as your feet keep moving. Really commit to it. Make the offer. Gift them whatever they ask for within your financial means. Have a quick chat or shake their hand after and be on your merry little way. Do a 30-day forgiveness meditation for someone you are angry with or dislike, whether it's private or public. Even if you never talk to them in real life, the world will be a better and more loving place if you have let go of whatever resentment you may have held or you may currently be holding towards them. And you will further free yourself emotionally in the process. Admit you were wrong, but don't ask for forgiveness. Acknowledge and sincerely apologize for something that you did that was less than skillful in a relationship without asking for forgiveness. Why? Because asking for forgiveness is to help you feel better, right? If you really want to give an act of love, then think only of the other person. 7, write a letter of appreciation. Work on it for a few days before you send it. Don't make it seem hurried or as though you just signed your name to a Hallmark card. Tell them specifically why you appreciate them. Be lavish with your verbal praise. Tell your friends why you love them. Tell your parents why you love them. Compliment your coworkers, friend, lover in front of other people regularly. Only say things that you mean, but say them often. Again, be specific. The next time you think something nice about someone, say it out loud. Don't just wish somebody a happy birthday on Facebook. Text them, call them, send them a card. Choose who you associate with. Number 10, choose who you associate with. Stop associating with people who don't do anything but make you feel bad about yourself or about life. Don't talk about that fact or about them. Just do something else. 11. So if you can't do that, make a list ahead of time of things to talk about with those people that do not involve complaining about life. Start with these. Where do you want to be 10 years from now? What would you like to see in our world in 10 years? How you could team up together to do something good for someone else. A topic you feel strongly about, a positive about supporting. 12. From one of the many internet sites of how to bring more love into the world. Acknowledge that there's a lot of stuff in this world. There are a lot of people who are willing to say mean things about you and to you. There will be people who want to punch and things that will make you want to scream. You will bear witness to the unimaginable cruelty and severe injustice, and it will make you want to turn your insides out and give up on humanity entirely. But choose love anyway. Or as Mother Teresa once said, people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. So there are 12 ideals for creating an environment where the intrinsic love within people can be called forth. What do you say we give it a try? Martin Luther King Jr. once said, we have before us the glorious opportunity to We have before us the glorious opportunity to inject a new dimension of love into the veins of our civilization. Let's take that opportunity over the next 36 days. Why 36 days? Well, it will give you the opportunity to do one of these activities a day and roll through them 3 times. And journal how you feel and what you experience as a result. Post your experiences on Facebook and let's create a buzz, a big stir and a big deal about bringing some big doses of love into our world. Because here is the heart of the matter. We are here to love each other, even when it's hard. And we're here to remind each other, even when we forget. And so it is. Okay. So our attention statement together, please. May the center of spiritual living Modesto grow and thrive in its grace-filled service for highest and God. Okay, our prosperity affirmation. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. My cup runneth over, and I exist in limitless possibilities.
So it is.
Yay!